Now we can start drawing our part. Using the offset command makes things quite easier for us, but there are of course other ways in which you could draw this part. You can either follow my guide to drawing this part or use any method you would like on your own, and just fast forward until you see me talking about changing the line types using layers and dimensioning the part. Okay, let's begin. Offset 1. Oh, I do wanted to show you that. This is good that I did that. If you offset rectangles, you get a rectangle. You don't want that to happen. So I need to use a command called explode, which I don't know if it's here anymore. So I'll type in a command called explode. Select the rectangles, hit enter, and now they become polylines. Now I could offset at a distance of 1 here and here, which represents this feature of the dovetail finger. I don't see anything else that needs to be offset 1, so now I'll be offsetting using the value of 3/4 here and here. I can even do it here and here to locate those corners, which I'll probably do. So let's do that next. Repeat the offset command and set it to 3/4. Enter. I'll put the bottom and here. And since I need those corners, I'll just do these as well. Those lines won't be there at all, but I'll take care of that at this point. That represents this corner here and this corner here. Let's see if there's anything else I need to offset. I see this line here. I need to offset it 1/4, which happens to be the same as this line here, so I'll be offsetting 2 lines right now at 1/4. And this line over. Now I know looking at all these lines are rather confusing, so it is time to trim. Let's do that now. Trim, if you just hit enter, it selects everything on your screen. You can start trimming the parts you don't need at this time. I'm erasing those, they don't belong there. I should not have trimmed that line, as you can see, because I need more of it, but I'll just leave it as it is for now. I think it's time we draw these 60-degree angle lines as well. So I'll switch to polar. I'll right click and go to settings, or I can just set it here actually. Just set it to 30 degrees so we can draw some lines. Okay, we're looking for 60 degrees. I mean, this 60 degrees is the same as the 60 degrees here, so we're looking for 60 from 180. I need to take off object snap tracking. It is getting in my way. There's the first 30. There, that's the number I was looking for right there. 120. And the other side. This is where you can see why I should not have trimmed that line. I need to extend it back. Remove those. And trim the part. And remove it. You continue to draw the object lines of the part. So in the top view, we just need to draw what you see in this section here. I think we should use a line down the midpoint and offset it 1/2 of 5/8 in both directions. I think we should offset a line 2.5 from the left side. I'll draw a line from the midpoint across. Let's offset that line 1/2 of 5/8, which is 5/16. Now let's offset from the left the distance you see here to 1/2. These two lines, by the way, you could also be drawn by offsetting the bottom up 1 and down 1. It would have worked the same way. As for the angle, we're going to need to transfer this line up here in order to get this angle of 30 degrees, because we need to know where this line intersects here near the corners. I'll just take this line and stretch it all the way to the top. Now you see where my intersections are. I can use the line command, pull a tracking on at 30 degrees. Grab that intersection there. Repeat the line command. Grab that intersection there. And do quite a bit of trimming. Hit trim, hit enter. Remove the features I don't want. Whenever it doesn't trim, I just erase. Take a look at our object. So far so good. Now let's use and talk about the projection rectangle to transfer information from the top view to the front and from the front view to the top. There's quite a few lines that do need to transfer here and along here. So let's work with just the upper feature of these 4 corners, which will project over here. And then later we'll project all the details of the lower part of the block, which will project to here. I know some of you are probably wanting to trim those things off, so let me get rid of those. And let's begin. Take the line command. You have to grab this corner up here, come on up, grab that intersection, and bring it all the way to the back, right there. Repeat that for all 4 parts. Grabbing that meter line, going all the way across. Snapping it perpendicular. Grabbing that intersection. Grabbing that perpendicular. Okay. Now, since we're going to trim, we want to pick select enter this time. We'll pick what we want to trim to, which is that line there. Enter, and remove all the rest of this. I'll trim off these things as well. I'm going to erase these little pieces here. I'm only keeping these lines as reference to how it transferred over to there. That takes care of the features of the right side view transferred to the top view. We'll talk about changing line type later. Now let's transfer all the details of the top view to the front view. These 2 corners here have already been transferred, and these edges right here. This location, this corner, which is the same as this, and this corner, which is the same as this corner, represents this line here and this line here, whereas these 2 corners represent the lines you see here and here, which of course are 3/4 high. So let's transfer that information down. Now, as you can see, certain lines are in common with each other. And because we don't want to make any mistakes, let's remove these lines completely. so they don't interfere. The line command, grab that intersection, come all the way down. Okay, let's continue. I want to show you something. Let me take off polar and continue this process. Notice I can no longer grab an intersection. Notice that I don't have any alignment of any kind. When we turn ortho on, I can draw straight, however I cannot grab any intersection. The only way that will work is if polar tracking is on, as you can see here. So make sure polar tracking is on. If it's off, you cannot grab that meter line as easily as you would like. So polar tracking needs to be on. Let's continue. Let's trim. Remember, I'm not going to enter this time. I'm going to pick just this line here. And I might keep this one also, just so you can see the lines that we're working with. And this one here. Hit enter. So it's trimming up to the projection rectangle, as is this here. So you can see your work. And escape or hit enter to finish the command. We're done with the trim command. Let's look at our features. I need to project this feature to the front view. I need to project this feature to the front view from the top. It's as easy as doing this. Just grab that, stretch it all the way across, and grab this line and stretch it by using the blue grip. Those are grips all the way down. Now this time I'm going to trim. Then I'm going to pick this line. Probably need this one. And this one. And here, hit enter. And remove what I don't want. I knew that would happen. I should have picked that line up there. So let's just redraw that little feature right there. We no longer need this. And although our lines are all in place, they are not of the right type. This is where using layers comes in handy. First of all, let's choose all of these lines here, and these lines here, these lines here. Don't worry about these lines, those are construction lines. Let's move them to the Optical Layer with the escape key. Let's see what lines need to be hidden lines. Just a few. The nice thing about layers, you can just pick these lines right here. I could do all four, but I'm just going to do a few at a time. Hit hidden, hit the escape key to clear out that selection. There's two of the hidden lines already done, and we need two more. So this one here, and this one here. Hit the escape key a few times to clear it out, and there's our object complete, but now dimensions are next. So switch to the dimension layer, and the dimension layer is current, and now we'll start dimensioning our object. And the convenient thing about this, all of the line weights have changed automatically just by picking dimension. Before we can dimension, we need to set up our dimension settings that we're going to be using for this drawing. In the annotation tab, look for the dimension style command and click on that to get the dimension style manager open. You've already learned how to modify dimensions. We're going to go a step further and create a new dimension style that becomes our own. Since it is our own, I want you to type in your last name as your style. And of course, it'll start with standard. Click with continue. And we've done this settings before. Let's set our primary units. It's already at fractional, that's good. Scale factor is 1, don't ever change that one. The scale factor you would like to use is this one here. However, we're going to put it back to 1 and not use the setting of 0.0625 because we're going to change the text type so it reflects the size of our drawing, which is 1/8 of an inch and 125. that will match the height of our title block, text, or any annotations that we use. Click OK. Now we have to make your style current. So you click on Angular and click on Set Current, and that'll be the current style we're going to be using for these drawings, as you see there. Click Close. Let's start dimensioning.